Hi everybody, Teshia here, and for those of you who are viewing my channel for the first time, thanks for clicking on the video. The good news is, for all of you who've been following me over the years and for my new friends, my channel's going to be getting a little bit more, what should I say, aesthetically pleasing, a little bit more professional in the coming months. I'm hiring a little bit of a team to help me just to kind of amp things up. My business has really been, I don't want to use the words at a standstill because I've still been very active with my consulting work, but I haven't been putting a lot of time and energy into my social media because I just have been feeling for about a year now a little bit unclear about the direction that I wanted to take my business and my brand because I've been really feeling the need to make some changes, which I'll explain in the coming months as well. But, anyways, sometimes you have to step away from things in order to really get that clarity that you're looking for so that you can come back in and really deliver what it is that you want to deliver. It's really hard for me to do anything half-assed, so to speak. I've always been a very all or nothing person, and so yeah, I have definitely been a little bit more absent than I would have liked to been. So anyways, lots of stuff coming at you. As you can see, it's not Monday today, but I'm going to be doing videos more regularly, so they'll be showing up in your inbox if you subscribe. If you don't, please do below. And if you do, you'll be seeing those in your inbox more often. So today we are going to discuss food for flexibility, and this topic is something that I've given a lot of public talks on in the past over the years at various yoga studios and events. And the reason that this topic is close to my heart is because flexibility was, especially in my early 20s, something that I was really pursuing with a lot of vigor. I was doing yoga competitions at the time, and I really wanted to see how far I could take my body. And I must admit that at the time, my relationship with yoga was a little bit misaligned. Yoga competitions these days, it just doesn't feel like something that I really want to partake in. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but my relationship with yoga now is much more personal, and I practice a lot on my own, and it's just really something that I do to connect with myself, which I really want to teach you guys how to do as well. But back in the day, seeing how flexible it was possible to get was super important to me, and yeah, so I practiced a lot, obviously. And let me also say that when I first discovered yoga, I did have already some natural ability. Okay, so I didn't have any injuries. I was young, I was only 20, and I had a little bit of natural flexibility already. Partly because I wasn't like super strong, and the stronger you get, not that I'm not strong, but the stronger you get in terms of like if you have a lot of muscle on your body, you're going to have a little bit less flexibility. Now, if you build both at the same time, that might not happen. But if you're just focused on building strength for many years and you really skip over flexibility, well, then you're going to have a little bit of restriction that way. Anyways, I better get to the point here because now I'm rambling. But I did have some natural ability already in terms of my yoga practice, but I have to say that because my discovering yoga and my transition to healthy eating kind of collided, they coincided, they happened at the same time. Because of this, I've really been able to see how the two work together. I was at first, just doing one, and then when I started to add the really amazing diet to the mix, I could really feel the difference. And as I proceeded throughout the years doing my competitions, I experimented with all kinds of different things, from raw diets to vegan diets to fasting. I did all kinds of stuff, and I don't recommend that you necessarily do that because I also caused my body some stress at times, and sometimes a lot of stress, because I was really using myself as a guinea pig as I was learning all of this stuff, which I'm grateful for because now I feel like I can consult with my clients in a really real way because I've literally tried it all. Anyways, to today's topic, foods that, in my opinion, will help you become more flexible. So to start off with, I've just wrote down a little list of things that popped into my mind immediately upon meditating on this topic. The first thing is obviously adopting a more anti-inflammatory diet. So in my mind, what that looks like is a diet that excludes things like alcohol, coffee, sugar, allergens. So anything that you are particularly sensitive or allergic to, because even if that food isn't innately inflammatory, if you are sensitive to it for whatever reason, it will cause an inflammatory reaction in your body. So that's something to be very mindful of. When I omitted some of the foods that I was allergic to, this made a huge difference in the way that my body moved, felt, my energy, and certainly the way that I the mobility I had basically in my body and my joints. So allergens, gluten and dairy, which are common allergens, but they also tend to be inflammatory for a lot of people. Processed food as well. So those are the big ones: alcohol, coffee, sugar, allergens, gluten and dairy, and processed foods. So I mean, you don't have to eliminate everything 100% and 100% of the time, but as much as you can limit those foods, which are not really healthful foods anyway, the more you can limit those, I believe you will see a change in terms of your flexibility. Things to favor in an anti-inflammatory diet would be foods like vegetables, especially greens and green leafy vegetables, and maybe even a green supplement, which I'll get to at the end of this as well. Greens, alkaline, anti-inflammatory, wonderful for flexibility. Low sugar fruits. I say low sugar because in my experience, if people go too crazy with the sugars, this can cause issues in terms of insulin issues or insulin resistance even, and blood sugar management, and those types of things, if they're going all over the place, can cause inflammation. So I like to suggest people stick with low sugar fruits, things like obviously lemons and limes, but also, lots of berries. All the berries are really friendly this way. Grapefruit is good. And then smaller portions of any other fruit that you really love, of course, works too. Nuts and seeds and healthy fats in general, like avocados, coconut oil, wonderful anti-inflammatory foods. Fat does not make you fat. I swear by that statement. And in general, less animal protein. So I'm not saying that you have to be vegetarian or vegan to be flexible. You don't. I would say that eliminating gluten will make you more flexible than eliminating animal proteins, for example. So they are not necessarily innately inflammatory, I don't think. But if you are sensitive to them for whatever reason, or if you have an allergy to something like eggs, that's a common allergy, or in general, if you're eating just like loads and loads of protein all day long, I don't think this is the best for flexibility. So that's a brief overview of foods to include and exclude in an anti-inflammatory protocol / diet. If you're really struggling with inflammation, I would suggest you do a little search online for something called the AIP protocol. This is the autoimmune protocol, and this particular plan / diet is really good for determining what you're allergic to or what you're reacting to. So if you have so much inflammation going on that you're actually in a bit of an autoimmune state, like you're suffering from an autoimmune condition, then you really need to do some diet detective work to figure out what foods exactly are causing the problems. And the AIP plan is a really good way to get to the bottom of it quicker, as opposed to just like, I'm going to eliminate eggs this week and dairy next week, and like just clear the slate and then see. Yeah, so that you start to feel better quicker, which I think is so important. because that's what's going to motivate you to continue on figuring things out and improving your health. The last two things I want to mention in terms of increasing your flexibility via food is water. You have to drink enough water. This doesn't mean you have to drink 3 gallons of water a day. In fact, I don't recommend that. Too much water can be as harmful as not enough water, because you could just essentially be flushing your essential minerals out of your body, and this can cause its own set of problems. But enough water, I think for most people, a really good place to start is minimum 2-3 liters, and then on top of that, some herbal teas, whatever. If you are drinking a ton of coffee, or you've chosen to include alcohol still in your diet, then you may need more. But for the average person who has maybe 1 caffeinated beverage per day and who isn't abusing caffeine or alcohol in general, 2 to 3 liters is good. I think I get in about 2 liters, and then also a couple herbal teas, something like that. I have a green tea every day as well, which has a little bit of a diuretic effect like all caffeine does, but not as considerable. That's what I've noticed. Okay, and so the last thing that I have done and have found really helpful in terms of becoming more flexible through my food is a few supplements. The first one is MSM, and MSM is basically organic sulfur, and this is really, really, really helpful for all of your connective tissues in your body. So your skin, your nails, your hair, all of these things will benefit from MSM, and your joints and your flexibility. If you are vegetarian, if you are vegan, you might need this even a little bit more, because there are less foods rich in MSM in the vegetarian and vegan diet. So I like to add about a teaspoon of this to 1 liter of water at least once a day. It doesn't taste great. So if you take this, do not take it with a teaspoon or you'll hate me, and do not just add it to like a tiny glass of water. Make sure that you're taking the 1 teaspoon in a fairly big glass. The other thing that I love to take is turmeric, and we all know turmeric by now. This has been all the rage in the last few years with regards to nutritional research, and turmeric is definitely helpful for ridding the body of inflammation. I like to add turmeric to lemon water. I like to add it to my food. It's fantastic in salads. It's fantastic in stir fries. A lot of people do it in smoothies. I don't like to do that just because I like my smoothies to be super chocolatey, and I don't want anything to take away from that. But if you want to, you could do that. Anything that you're consuming, you could add this to, but especially savory foods, stir fries, that kind of thing. Turmeric, amazing for inflammation, for keeping the body flexible. How many more times should I say it, I wonder? I know I can be repetitive, but I love that you guys still like me no matter what. So next thing, greens. So I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. Now you can get your greens through smoothies, through salads. Where I'm currently living in the Middle East, it's, depending on where I am, it's sometimes tricky for me to find really good quality greens. So I've been doing more of this than usual. I have maybe a couple teaspoons throughout the day, especially morning and in the afternoon. If you feel that little energy slump kicking in, this is a great thing to do in a big glass of lemon water. So I really love the Sun Warrior Ormus Super Greens, and this one's especially great in my opinion because it has peppermint flavor, so it really doesn't taste like greens. So for those of you who don't like that green taste, like that wheatgrassy kind of taste, this is great. It does taste a little bit stevia-ish, so be aware of that if you hate stevia, because I know a lot of people do. The last thing in terms of greens that I do is chlorella tablets, and these are great because, again, if you're somebody who hates the green taste or the stevia taste, you can literally just take a few of these. They're just tiny little tablets and just drink them with water. You could take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, something like that. Do start slowly with these because they're super detoxifying. So if you add too much too fast, you might experience a little bit of a detox, and maybe it won't be the most convenient time for you to experience that. So depending on what's going on, just ease in with this. But chlorella tablets, this happens to be the raw chlorella tablets by Giddy Yo-Yo. So yeah, that's just a few things that I do. The last things, I just thought of one more thing, and I don't have it here right now to show you, but there is a supplement, an enzyme supplement, called serapeptase. And this, the ingredients in serapeptase are actually extracted from the silkworm, so it's not entirely vegan. But at times when I have had injuries and a lot of inflammation going on in my body, which would happen sometimes back in my yoga competition days, that doesn't make sense in and of itself, yoga and injuries, but what can I say? I've come a long way. Anyways, back then when I would have injuries at times, sometimes I dislocated ribs and these kinds of crazy things, I took serapeptase during those times, and it helped so much. So if you have a lot of inflammation, maybe you have a knee injury or something in your back, anything inflammatory going on, you might want to try these. So serapeptase. The other option is something called wobenzyme. Same idea. It's an enzyme that literally goes into your tissue and eats the inflammation. Wobenzyme, I believe, is extracted from bull, some kind of wild roaming animal. So just be aware of that, again, if you are vegan, as I know a lot of my followers are. So I hope this has been helpful to you guys, as usual. On top of all of this, let me know below other things that you would like to learn about in the coming months, because I'm going to have a lot more videos coming your way, a couple a week at least. So amping things up over here, and I'm excited to cover any topics that you really want to learn about. I love helping and I love sharing, and I've learned so much, and it honestly makes me crazy when I am not actively doing consulting or doing these videos, because I have so much knowledge at this point, truly, and I'm not bragging about that, but like, I have literally spent 10 years of my life being obsessed with this stuff. This is going to be another video coming up soon. But because of that obsession, and even though that caused me some struggle at times, because of that obsession, I have really learned a lot. So I'm excited, because this is going to enable me to help you guys in a really fantastic way. So thanks always for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing so below. I really appreciate it. I really want to grow my channel, my business, and if I see more people subscribing, that's really going to do a lot to motivate me to keep making videos and to keep bringing you guys all this information that you want to know about. Okay. Have a great Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. And thanks always for tuning in. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.